the day has finally come. January 6, 2020, official established launch date of First Supply Coffee. That is today, if you're watching this as soon as it goes live. FirstSupplyCoffee.com, get your coffee. We're gonna talk a lot more about this coffee and about actually launching and everything that went into launching this coffee company, but let's just say it's been about a year in the making, and I'm so happy we're finally launching. Towards the end of 2018, a thought popped into the back of my head, just like, that'd be really cool to start a coffee company. I've been trying all these different coffees. My wife and I have been trying to find like really good coffee. We wanted something consistent that we could drink, that we really liked. So in 2019, when I solidified the idea to go ahead and start the coffee company, I went around from roaster to roaster to roaster to roaster, emailing people in Portland, Oregon, getting coffee from them, emailing people in Austin, Texas, getting coffee from them. Anywhere that you can think of that roast coffee, I've ordered it, I've tried it. Most of it wasn't really all that great. Maybe it was okay, some of it was really bad.
And let's hold that thought as we go back in time to experience where this journey all began, with receiving and sampling a batch of not so great coffee from the first roaster I ever contacted.
Alright, so it is currently Monday, February 18th, 5:39 p.m. Just got home from work, got a package in the mail, and this is the coffee. I don't know when I'm going to be releasing this video, that's why I said the date and the time, because I don't plan to announce that starting the coffee company just yet, now in the middle of February, because we probably won't launch it until May or I don't know. We have a light roast here from the roaster, we have a medium roast here, and then we have a medium dark roast here exclusively for Forest Night. Wasn't that nice of them to print that out? To give my predictions, I think the medium coffee, the medium dark roast I mean, is going to be my favorite, but the medium roast may creep up on it, and unless this light roast is amazing, like light roast normally isn't my thing, I like it a little bit on the darker side, that's why I think medium dark is going to be my favorite. But light roast, I'm excited to try that as well. Oh, I'm so stoked. So this is the first step documenting the journey of starting my very first product-based business.
What is this one, light?
Light roast.
Nope, I don't like it.
And that, my friends, is a look of disappointment. The coffee was just not good. The light roast was bad, the medium roast was bad, and the medium dark roast was bad.
I don't know if I don't like that one really. Do you like that one?
No.
And as we continued to try more roasters, we kept getting the same result: disappointment and bad coffee.
So I took a bit of a break. I took a bit of a break in 2019. I thought maybe now is not the right time. We couldn't find the best coffee. I don't know, it was kind of a defeating feeling. But once I finally got my act together, I was like, why don't I just look towards local roasters. So I started looking at local roasters here in the state of Virginia and whatnot. After a lot of research, we found a roaster to roast our coffee, our blend here that you have in front of us, which is the only blend that First Supply Coffee sells right now. And that started it all. It all started off from figuring out a name to getting a logo design for that name. From bouncing around from name to name, actually getting a logo design for a particular name that I thought was gonna work out, but ended up not. I settled on First Supply Coffee. I went ahead and actually designed this logo myself. And the reason being is just because I figured that there weren't many designers, after getting that other logo designed, they didn't really capture exactly how I wanted it to be. They didn't capture what I was describing. It was just like an okay logo. Not to bash a logo designer, maybe I was bad at communicating, but I just needed perfection there because the name, First Supply, it means a great deal. You can read a little bit more about it on the website, but basically First Supply dates back all the way to 1607 to my ancestry. There's an ancestor of mine, his name was Thomas Savage. He was 13-year-old, hopped on the John and Francis ship, which was the first supply ship to come over to America for Jamestown, for the colonists, for the settlers, and that's where the name comes from, First Supply. Like I said, there's more information on Thomas Savage, of his story, how he went to live with the Native Americans, how was he an interpreter. Let's just say his ability to communicate between the Native Americans and the English settlers, that was key to survival of the settlement. And I don't know if I've expressed this a lot on the channel, but something I do really like is history, especially my own history, my local history, and considering that's right there in Jamestown, Virginia, while I'm here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, it just really meant a great deal to me. So I want to make sure everything was in my hands. I needed it done right. So I designed the logo, I designed the website. You know what? Let's dive into the whole design of the website, because that was a doozy. I did a lot of research trying to find a template that I figured was appropriate. I looked for Shopify templates, for all these different templates on Theme Forest, anything that I could find that was template that was already done, that maybe I can make a few tweaks in the code, but everything was already there and laid out. I looked for, and I couldn't find it. Like I said, this means a great deal to me, and I wasn't going to just settle for mediocrity when it comes to this, so I decided to do a little bit of research on how I should go about designing my own website. I was thinking about just opening up VS Code and going full custom, but I knew what I wanted to do was import it into Shopify. And I didn't really care to dive into Liquid and all that entailed. It just seemed a little bit daunting, and I didn't want to focus, while I was very excited for designing the website and doing all of that, I wanted to make sure that it was a setup website for the business more than just a project of building a website. Like, I code for fun on my own projects. This wasn't one of those that I just want to code for fun. This was one that needed to be done for this. I hope that makes sense. So what I did was, I think I contacted y'all. I think I was talking to y'all about, kind of the best back end. I mean, I was considering WooCommerce, Shopify, all of that for the business logic side of things, so I didn't have to custom code all that. I just wanted to focus on the front end. And then someone said something about Webflow. So long story short, I ended up using Webflow to design the front end of my website. I knew what I wanted. I wanted the home page to display the coffee, this coffee bag right here, and then right next to it, give a little bit of information on the coffee, just kind of, hey, this is a new product, single product is what we're selling right now. Right when you come to the website, that's what you see. It's no confusing, like, oh, there's a picture here about I don't know what. There's a little bit of information here about I don't know what. Y'all take a look. I think it looks pretty nice. And then a little bit more information about the coffee, a little bit more information about us and the history of the story of the name, the story of us. When I say us, my wife and I. And then the coffee club. Now, that is coming soon. The coffee club is a subscription, basically a subscription for coffee that way you don't have to worry about ordering it every single time you want coffee. You can say, hey, I want 2 bags every 2 weeks, 2 bags a month, 1 bag a month, whatever it may be. You let me know what date you want it, how many you want it, how often you want it, and then we'll send it to you. I also went on to create the product page for the website within Webflow. My initial idea, here's the thing, my initial idea was to go in, Webflow was just going to be the front page. I was going to take the front page, I was going to throw it on Shopify, and then that would be the front page, and then when I clicked on coffee, which is basically, shop or products, it'll take you over to a Shopify generated product page. So I, do a little bit of customization in Shopify for the product page, but it was going to be fairly basic. It was going to be created in Shopify, but the thing, it actually ended up being easier for me to just create it in Webflow. And what I did was I used Udesly, I believe it's pronounced that way, to generate a Shopify theme out of my Webflow template in order to import it into Shopify. Now that process was a little bit more difficult than I thought it was initially going to be. Initially, I thought, I'd make it with Webflow. I'm sure they took all the logic from Webflow in order to generate it into Liquid, in order to import it into Shopify. I had to do quite a bit of work when it came to how everything was set up with the forms, with the carts, with the product page, with the navigation menu, and all of those needed to have a proper attributes. I needed to test it out, and really the only way to test it out was to change the attribute, export it from Webflow, import it to Udesly, export it from Udesly, import it to Shopify, test it on Shopify, and then keep doing that again and again and again and again until we have what you see on firstsupplycoffee.com right now. There are a few little kinks that I have yet to figure out how to work out, and for the most part, those are low priority. Everything that was mandatory or high priority set by myself are done. Website's good to go. So you can start purchasing your really good coffee. I would love to hear your feedback, critical or compliments of what you think of the website design. So now everything's set up. I've got my roaster, I've designed my logo. I sent the logo over to the roaster. We created a nice stamp to put on these bags, and I designed and developed the website. I also want to include, just for record's sake, the very first time I went to pick up these, you see 6, but 8 bags of the very first batch of First Supply coffee.
This is it. About to pick up the first order of coffee, not for
not for customers, but for me, for photos for the website. 8 bags. I got it. I got it. First Supply coffee right there. Oh, this is the first ever First Supply coffee. Let me take out the important details. So this is it right here. The first 8 bags of First Supply coffee ever. Woo! Oh, I wish there was smell of vision because this smells so good. Now let's talk a little bit more about the coffee. So First Supply coffee, this blend is a medium roast, tasting notes of red fruits, baker's chocolate, and cola. Each bag is 12 ounces of certified organic beans. The blend itself is 50% Guatemalan, 50% Peruvian, and roasted right here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. The bags themselves are earth-friendly. Living at the beach, you see a lot of trash get washed up on the beach, and I don't like to see all that trash get washed up on the beach. So we went with earth-friendly bags. It is 60% renewable plant-based resources, so we make the most minimal footprint as possible. Oh, let's bring this back over again. And every batch is roasted on Tuesdays and then shipped out thereafter. So what that means is that if you order anything on or after Tuesday, it'll be roasted the following Tuesday. The reason being is I don't want a bunch of inventory. Like this coffee, this is my coffee. This isn't coffee that I'm going to be shipping out to y'all. I want everything to be as fresh as possible, so everything is going to be roasted once a week, shipped out as soon as possible thereafter, so you're getting the absolute freshest beans. Speaking of which, it is 12 ounces of whole beans, not grounded, nothing like that, whole beans. That is to maintain the freshness because, you know, the older it is, the more stale it gets. Same thing goes for grounds. Whole bean lasts longer, fresh roast delivered right to your door, and that's it. So again, I appreciate all of y'all for your support on YouTube. If you choose to support me with the coffee company, I appreciate that as well. This month is going to be an insane month. This year itself is going to be an insane year. I hope all of y'all had a very wonderful Christmas and a happy new year. And I hope 2020 is going to be an amazing year for every single one of y'all. And that's it.